See, that's what I remember. And remembering for me is powerful because it helps me know that woman that you see here today was the woman that sustained me. She made me who I am today. So for the first time in my life, we had a Christmas dinner. I love it. I love family, guys. I love it. I love family. And for the first time in my life, we had Christmas dinner at my home in 1999. I never will forget it. And my mom was sitting there in my house. My brothers were there. We were having a good time. My sisters were there. And my mom said to me, she said, I need you to take me to the doctor. Well, naturally, I did. I said, okay, Mom, I'll take you. So we went to the doctor. Now, I work in healthcare. Keep that in mind. And I was standing there. And I always tell people, it's so ironic that I was reading Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, at the hospital where I work. And my mom was in radiology. One of my friends came by, who was Dr. Joel Spraggins, and he said, okay, Jeff, what are you doing here? And I go, well, my mom's here, little belly problems. And he says, okay, bring her up the back. I will scope her. I'll give her an endoscopy. Now, how many of you know we're going through healthcare reform? Don't you ever turn down free healthcare. Don't ever do that. So I didn't. So we scooted Mom up the back, and long story short, she had a procedure, and it took them about an hour and a half. And then finally, you know, they brought her back. And we were waiting, and I'm still there reading the book. And guess what? An hour and a half later, Dr. Joel Spraggins comes from the corner of the room. He's approaching me, and when I tell you, it was like Jaws. It was like I didn't hear the music, but I saw it. Dun, 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 dun. And the closer he got to me, I saw his face. His face was red. His lips were trembling. And I thought, you know, Dr. Spraggins is a good guy. He just lost a patient. How am I going to comfort this guy? And so the closer he got to me, I realized he was really sobbing. And so I said to myself, oh, my God, this is uncomfortable. So what am I going to do? And so when he got to me, he just stood and he looked me in my face. And he said to me, he said, Jeff, come in the room. I got something I want to say. And so Dr. Spraggins proceeded to tell us. He said, Ms. Allen, he said, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you do not have a gallbladder problem as they thought. He says, you have cancer. Now, keep in mind, guys, cancer is something foreign to my family. We did grow up in the hood. Therefore, the people that left my family, they left because they drank themselves to death. They got shot. They got killed. They got murdered. I'm serious here. But never, ever had anyone in my family died from cancer or heard the diagnosis. And let me tell you quickly, it was the most shocking phrase I could have ever heard. And long story short, he proceeded to tell us that this cancer was a rare form of cancer that was prevalent during the Japanese-American War. There were only 4 or 5 cases that popped up in the United States, in Japan, and only 1 or 2 in the United States. A rare gastric cancer. And then he proceeded to tell us, he said, I'm so sorry to tell you, but we don't have any treatments for it. He said, there are no drug therapies. I'm sorry. There are no drug therapies. There are no surgery. There's nothing we can do. And so I ask that you call your family and pray. And so my mom, being the strong woman that she was, she looked up and she said, well, what are you telling me? And he says, there's nothing we can do. The cancer is in your stomach. It's in your lungs. It's in your ovaries. It's in your liver. It's in your pancreas. There's nothing we can do. And so my mom said, well, if that's what you're telling me, let me go home. Let me go home. And so even though I work in healthcare, I freaked out. I said, go home? What do you think we're going to do at home? I can't do a no. I work in healthcare, but I can't do this by myself at home. And she said, no, Jeffrey, I want to go home. And so therefore we took her home. And guys, that was on January 25th. January 25th. And I want you to know that we planned every holiday for my mom every day, because he told us we might have 6 months to a year. So we planned every holiday a month. I'm so sad to say we never got to celebrate one holiday, because 29 days later she died. She was a healthy woman. Life for us was good. We had just recovered. We had just become a family. We finally left the I always say the socioeconomic tag that says we were dysfunction. We finally got out of that group. to only hear words, you have cancer and you're going to die in a year, not acceptable. And so it did make me bitter. I was a bitter man. My heart was cold and I was bitter about it. And the truth is that I was downright mad because this thing came along and it took something from me that was precious to me. It was all that I had. I didn't have a father like some of you. I never had a good family like some of you. But I knew one thing, if I didn't know anything else, that my mom loved me if no one else did. And therefore, I vowed to protect her. I vowed to protect her. And at this very moment, I was so vulnerable because I could not do it. There was no money. There was not a place. There were no people that I could bring into her life to take this away. So after we buried Mom, I really just kind of hung around and did nothing. I was mad. I was bitter. But someone asked me to go to a meeting one night, and I chose to go. And it was at a church fellowship hall. And I went with this lady because she works with me, and she was concerned about me. And so when I got there, it was the funniest thing you've ever want to see. Naturally, it was. In a church fellowship hall, there are these people. They were the weirdest, craziest people I think I've ever seen in my life. And the truth is, growing up in the projects and going to the Church of God, I'd pretty much seen everything. So the thing is that I saw these people. I took the Baptist seat in the back table, in the middle. You guys know. And I thought, wow, this is crazy. There was this woman, she had on these hot pink pants and this big purple boa, and she was swinging it all around. And I thought, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I'm not even Catholic. And then there was this guy, this older white gentleman who had on a pimp suit, purple, with a fuzzy hat, and they were just conking all around, and I thought, these people are nuts. But the most awesome thing about it was those two people walked up to a podium, and they stood there, and they held their head up high, and they began, with tears streaming down their face, to thank the people in the room. And they began to tell those people, I'm alive because of you. Because of you, my life has changed. I didn't know who they were talking to and why they were talking to them, but the only thing I knew was they were happy that they were alive. And the woman gave her speech, and she was so happy at the end, she reached around her boa, she yanked off her hair and threw it in the audience. Yeah, she was happy to be alive. And I thought, surely to God, if they start pulling out snakes, I am out of here. But that night, back there, losing every ounce of masculinity I had at my Baptist position, I sobbed like no one else could. And I think there was an opportunity for Jeff Ross to choose to be bitter about this situation or get better. California, I'm here to tell you, Jeff Ross got better that night. What did it mean to me? What did it mean to me? And you can attest to this. What did it mean to you? That night meant everything to me. Why? Because I was introduced to Relay for Life. It gave me a safe place that I could grieve as a man. It gave me a new family that I never had. And it put in me a fervor that I needed to go out and kick some cancer butt because it had taken my mom from me. So today, you have your story. You have the momentum. I'm challenging you to use this. Use this momentum that you have. What is it that caused you to be here? Take that, internalize it. Use this that you've garnered this weekend, and you go out and you relay like you are literally crazy, people. Yes, like you are literally crazy. Why? And people always ask me, they say, Jeff, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Well, I'm doing it for these reasons. As you can see on here, I work at a healthcare system. 2 weeks ago, I just found out that my healthcare hospital is the #1 healthcare team in the country. Yes. $112,000. My hospital. And so people say, well, Jeff, what are you going to do? Well, I tell them this. Listen, I lost my mom to cancer. But you can rest assured, I'm going to do all that I can to make sure that your mom is going to be okay, your mom is going to be okay, your mom is going to be okay, and your mom is going to be okay. That's why I am here. So today, as we move forward, so today, as we take this experience away from here, we leave here I'm talking imagining the impossible, guys. We can't be limited by this economy. We can't be limited by the small things that happen in our communities. We have to, take it like a bulldog would. Get a hold of your imagination. Dream things that you would never dream and go out and make things happen. Why? Because there are people in our communities that are depending on us. Oh my God, I have so many people in my life that I look at. My mom's best friend. I just lost her this year. She was the next best thing to my mom. I don't have her anymore. And people ask me why I'm over the top. Come on, guys. How many more people do we have to lose before the other people get it? No. It's okay to clap there. It takes you saying, I'm not taking it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. And that's exactly what I did. Guys, I don't have time to play games. I have a quest in front of me, and it is to eradicate cancer from your life and from your family's life. And I believe we can do it. Sometimes things get rough, and sometimes they get hard. But you know what? That little girl right there, Carrie Hefner, she's with Justin Bieber. Carrie was with Justin. And you know why I have Carrie's picture up there? Because sometimes I get tired. And sometimes I feel like, am I doing too much? But 2 weeks ago when Carrie died, I realized I wasn't doing too much. I realized I was doing the right thing. I realized that there are people out there, little babies who do not deserve this, little kids like this little baby, like little AC Bledsoe. And just 2 weeks ago, I got so caught up on my job and what I'm doing on my job, and I forgot. And I got word that little AC Bledsoe, this angel, died and went to be with the Lord. It broke my heart. But what did it do for me? It gave me another venue to start imagining all over again, to start believing all over again, and rest assured know that we can hope again. Why? Because we know that those people are depending on us. What is it? I want you to understand something. Hope is greater. Why? Because people, you are hope. Hope is greater. Hope is greater because you are hope. You are it. You are all the Carrie Hefners are going to have. You are all the AC Bledsoes are going to have. It is you, folks. It is you. And so I challenge you. I give you a call to action. You go home. You take this that you've gained this weekend and you put it to work in your community. If it goes back in your bag, if it goes back in your little portfolio, it's going to be good for nothing. But I ask you, matter of fact, I implore you, please take what you've learned. Take this message, go back to your community, challenge people to imagine, challenge people to believe the impossible, and make sure that they know that hope is all we have. And if hope is all we have, folks, then that is good enough. Because when we have hope, we can rest assured that it is not if we're going to find a cure for cancer. People, it is when we're going to find a cure for cancer. It's when we're going to find the cure for cancer. And I trust that you will go home and make this happen. And when you do get tired, please remember my smiling face telling you this. Please be encouraged when you hear this. And please know that we have no foe. Do you hear me? We have no foe. I'm going to say it again. We have no foe. Why are you telling me this? It is not just a haphazard thing. It is a fact. My friends from California, we're gonna find a cure for cancer. And you can rest assured, nothing but death will keep us from it. God bless you. Go home and relay.